52K USD revenue. The money's hitting the account. Do I see myself beating my competition within this niche with like my zone of genius, whatever? And I was like, fuck yeah. It's crazy when you operate from a place of alignment. Obviously what I was lacking and deficient in, you really were able to help me. You've also just given me the confidence to kind of move forward and go in that direction, which is nice. I remember we had a couple of conversations where I was like, oh, but maybe I should improve my product, or maybe I should do this. And you're like, are you getting results? Just having somebody to guide you to make sure that you're always on the right path, having that clarity, that's all. Sometimes that's all you need. And that is priceless. Your results speak for themselves. Like every fucking day that I check my phone, it's like win in the group chat. You know, it's like very obvious. You can't even fight the results. I think pretty much everyone that has followed your exact roadmap to a T and has not diverged has had results.
Welcome. Firstly, my friend, let's explain the situation and where you're at now, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of surreal because my best month prior to this had been, I believe, 18.2K. And as of 2 days from now, so this Saturday, I will have hit in the space of like 30 days exact, 52K USD revenue. But still, like it's fucking, yeah, it's mind blown. And it hasn't really sunk in. You know what I mean? Like, I think when I hit my first 10K month about a year and a half ago, I was like dancing around my flat naked for like 2 weeks just because of how ecstatic, like dopamine rush, like I could pay off debts, I could do all this shit. Then when I hit 18.2K, I was like, okay, I can invest this, I can whatever, you know, it wasn't quite as intense, but still. And now that I've hit this, honestly, it's so cliche, but it's made me even like restructure my priorities because I'm already comfortable enough. I'm not a car guy. I'm not whatever. Like I've got my flat. I live next to the beach. I have everything that I need. I love traveling and maybe a nice glass of wine. But aside from that, I don't know. The money's hitting the account and I'm just like, I just want to help people, you know, like I'm just excited for the new people joining the mentorship. And it's applying a lot of pressure for me to increase my responsibility and leadership as a man. And I think the revenue is just a reflection of that.
Amen. And it's I think we both knew it was going to happen. Like you've found the thing that you love, and let's almost, for anyone watching, give a bit of context to the situation with old offer, us working together, the time we spent together, and then new offer, and how that whole dynamic works.
Yeah. So in terms of the old offer, I was actually running 3 different businesses. I was a coach for health coaches. I've got a big background in that. I've had health issues. I've been a kickboxing instructor, all that stuff. I then also had a mentorship for my videographers, just teaching them doing exactly what I did because I've been in the content space for like 8+ years. And then I'm also creative director for a couple specific clients, yourself included, right? And I know we have that dynamic, but they're also very separated to a certain extent, which is quite nice. But it was all over the place, you know. It was like I was juggling a lot of plates. I didn't have that linear focus that you really helped guide me on. And I remember we sat down and we just had a massive breakthrough between the two of us. I think last time I was in London, so maybe like a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
And it just clicked and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I don't see myself coaching health coaches necessarily in the next 3 years, but I've always been a creative. I get more fulfillment from the mentorship with my videographer business. Why don't we just build that and scale it to the moon and then close the health coaching business? So I had to take a massive risk. I took a massive risk by closing down my biggest breadwinner. You remember, and you were like, yeah, man, you have to take the risk. And then for like a month, you know, reduced income, all of that, but I knew it was going to pay off. And then it's crazy when you operate from a place of alignment and you take imperfect action, which is something that you've helped me massively do. Just not overthink things, avoid perfectionism, you know, implement the right systems and the right steps, and more importantly, just take fucking furious amounts of action. Then everything clicked, and in the space of like 4 days or 3 days, I made 40K revenue from one loan.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? And then I sold it out. Like I closed the doors, and here we go. And now I feel way more fulfilled, way more congruent. I feel like it can help people even more because I understand their pain points better. It's my journey, and it's such a wholesome community as well. So
I love that, man. I think the coolest thing about it is like the passion even there you have for it, which is so cool to listen to. It was like that breakthrough. I remember in the flat in London, we know, for context of anyone listening, Pedro and I were filming some stuff for my brand, and Pedro's been awesome as a creative director actually in my business. And we were like, why the fuck does he not just teach this like to other people? Like we were in flow state of that, and it was like, yeah, it was just this breakthrough, which was like the energy. You could feel the energy and the like, this is the right thing. We were like, whoa, calm down, right? Is this the right thing? But it was great. I loved it. And now to see the passion you have for it is awesome. What do you think has helped you structure that passion then into results?
Structure the passion into results. I mean, also just seeing how you operate within the communities, because obviously I've been to one of your masterminds, which was, well, no, I've been to a couple of your masterminds, a couple of like the lectures, whatever. In some regards, it's like, okay, well, I'm actually more qualified than I had realized because I know some of this stuff. And then in other regards, obviously what I was lacking and deficient in, you really were able to help me. And sometimes in business, it's just about, you know, filling in the voids that you as a business owner have. And obviously with me, it was like perfectionism, lack of imperfect action, a couple of the system stuff as well. And yeah, you would always just guide me in the right direction when it came to these things. So I think, yeah, when you combine alignment, congruence, what you actually love, and then you just, you know, it's law of constraints. Anyone listening to this who knows Alex Hormozy has probably heard this before, but it's like your business can only grow as much as your constraints. So even if my capacity for something is a 7 out of 10, my sales are an 8 out of 10 or whatever, but then my imperfect action is a 4, then or my systems are a 4, then my business can only grow as much as that. And so I've just been leveling up the skills that we're missing. And yeah, you've also just given me the confidence to kind of move forward and go in that direction, which is nice. So yeah,
it's interesting you say that, because I think the great thing about working with you is that you knew a lot of the stuff, right? You know, you'd been, even at the masterminds, you were jumping in on things. You know a lot of the things. You obviously take content calls in the community that we have, right? So you know that stuff. But the incredible part is just being like the speed that you got at and did things. But what were the constraints that you feel like you lent on me for a little bit, or what were some of the constraints, the gaps that you did feel that you needed to fill in, as opposed to a lot of the things you actually already knew?
Well, one, I think a lot of coaches, they give you pieces, but they also don't structure it in like a very linear way. Like you have your checklist where it's like if you literally just do all of these things back to back, like there's no way that you can fail. And then of course there's the nuanced aspect of it, which is like, okay, if you ever get stuck on something, then I can go to you and then you can give me the nuanced answer. Or and any time that I was already like, I remember we had a couple conversations where I was like, oh, but maybe I should improve my product, or maybe I should do this. And you're like, are you getting results? I'm like, yes. It's like, then, you know, acquisition, like, what are you doing? Like, do this. And so anytime that I would like start to pivot into the wrong direction, because I think as business owners, we tend to come up with fucking solutions that don't exist. Like, sorry, solutions to problems that really don't exist, or we try to foresee problems. And it's like just having somebody to guide you to make sure that you're always on the right path, giving you even simplifying things sometimes, just having that clarity. Sometimes that's all you need. And that is priceless. It's absolutely, it's the reason why I've invested in previous mentors. It's the reason why people invest in me, you know?
For sure. It's so funny, isn't it? And I think I put a reel out about this the other day. The biggest thing that I feel like I say, and I'm sure you have the same thing with your clients, is just no, like, don't do that. You don't need to do that. It's so funny, isn't it? But I guess
like sometimes you need permission, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Right. It was like that time when we were like, I can't remember if it was your last offer or this offer, where we were like, let's just put, oh no, maybe it was Mateus, but like just put up a story. Just put up a story and just try and sell it.
It was Mateus, but I was also at a dinner where you said that to him, so I remember that.
And it's so funny, isn't it? Like, it's like you just need permission to do that stuff, and I think that's what's been awesome for you, is like something in that flat where we had that decision, you just changed and just went, I'm gonna go, and then ever since that, it's just been speed run to making this happen. Like, how do you feel now versus maybe when you felt lost, like pre that flat or within that flat conversation we have? Like in terms of your business and life?
That's such a good question. Because for me, the biggest issue, and maybe somebody listening to this will resonate as well, is that I had a very strong identity split. So I felt like I couldn't post creative content, which is what I love, because it would deter the health coaching type of people. And then if I posted the health coaching type of content, which I'll be honest, I didn't actually really want to, and I didn't really resonate with as much because it wasn't my true skill set, my true passion, then I'd push away my creative opportunities. And so by letting go of something. It was all from a scarcity mindset. I didn't want to let go of the biggest breadwinner, all this stuff. So when I made a decision from a place of abundance, let go of the ego, obviously like took a hit in a month to then now make room for expansion for something else. Now I feel better, and I feel better in every way because I feel aligned. There's so much congruence with what I do. Like I love it. I feel even more qualified. You've probably seen I've started posting more often just naturally because I don't feel that resistance anymore. I'm like, yeah, I want to do this and I can do this. And don't get me wrong, there's ego resistance and there's spiritual resistance. If you feel ego resistance, like you said you'd wake up at 6 a.m. and you didn't wake up, like you need to tap into that type of resistance, right? It's like, excuse my French, don't be a little bit. But at the same time, if you feel spiritual resistance, then that's usually a sign to kind of not go in that direction. So if you're feeling this like deeper sense of resistance, and I felt that with the health coaching business. And so now my biggest skill set is that I've worked on is being able to discern which type of resistance to tap into. If I feel ego resistance, destroy it. If I feel spiritual resistance, I let it go.
I love that. I love that. What? Yeah, so strong. And where? That's cool. And I love that because I think that's what it felt like, didn't it? It felt like you were just pushing uphill to get this business, and you're someone who's been in this space for so long and helps other people do it. So it's like, why was that happening? Why? What? I guess it must have been. I think one thing that maybe I didn't appreciate is how scary it must have been, for want of a better word, of just cutting the thing that you dedicated the last few years of your life to. How did you get over that feeling?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I had been doing it for 1.5 years, so it's not like a super long thing. And I was happy with how fast I scaled it. Sorry, what was the question? As in, like, how did I?
Yeah, like you're sat there and, we're sat in the flat. We're like, okay, this could be a good decision. You've got the voice in your back of your head telling you this is a good thing. But you've also got that like, well, that's 18 months of work just binned. How did you deal with that? It's just, everyone has to make a scary decision, but why do you feel okay making that decision to jump in?
Yeah, there is sunk cost fallacy, but I'm also a believer that everything that you go through, like you've gained new sets of like skill sets, knowledge, etc. So everything that I learned in those 18 months working on that business, none of it has like gone to waste, because like I became a better salesman, I became a better practitioner, became a better coach, a better leader. And that all transitions to what I'm doing now. And if I hadn't done that, I probably even wouldn't have been able to sell as much as I did now. So everything is a stepping stone. So there's that side. The other side, you asked me 2 really important questions that kind of broke my brain a little bit. And I think we're part of the instigator for this deeper realization, which is one, you asked me if I could see myself beating people. I'm not going to name any names, but like competitors in my space and in this niche that I was in. And I was like, realistically not, because like, if somebody's work feels like play and it doesn't for you, then they're always going to have an advantage. And so even when you need to rest, they don't need to rest. And then you compound that over 10 years and they're just going to naturally beat you.
Yeah.
And then you also said, like, I've always, Pedro, I think you're like a B+ or an A- at this thing. But when I've seen you in your zone of genius, like your creative direction, like I see that way more. And then I thought about it and I combined the 2 questions and I was like, okay, do I see myself beating my competition within this niche with like my zone of genius, whatever? And I was like, fuck yeah, like I want to try at least, you know what I mean? And work doesn't feel as much like work most of the time, to be honest. So yeah, like that became so clear to me. It's like, okay, well, I can either build this health coaching business based off of ego, and yeah, it pays the bills and whatever, like InfoSpace is amazing. But then if you can just combine that with something that you're just naturally good at and that you've got more experience in and you can see yourself doing in a few more years, then I think it's not fighting against the grain, right? Like you have a huge advantage.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, it's been awesome to see. Obviously we have a dynamic together of working, but I think we're pretty good at keeping the hats separate. If someone's watching this and they're like, thinking about making the jump, I guess you've seen the great thing is you've seen masterminds, you've worked together with me within the business, but also worked together with my clients. What would you say about someone thinking about making a decision?
I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer for me, because I mean, one, on just in terms of values, like I told you, we met at a dinner and we ended up speaking for hours at that dinner. And I was like, okay, like we've got similar values. Like he's a very authentic and genuine person. I'm just a firm believer, and I'm privileged enough to be at a place in my life where I can do this. But I choose people that I work with, including clients, including mentors, whatever, based on values. So if those things are aligned, like there's less headaches, there's more congruence, everything makes sense. Second of all, like your results speak for themselves. Like every fucking day that I check my phone, it's like win, win, win in the group chat. You know, it's like very obvious. You can't even fight the results. So there's a spiritual aspect, there's the result aspect, and then if I really have to strip it back, it's like if anyone follows the exact roadmap that I think pretty much everyone that has followed your exact roadmap to a T and has not diverged has had results. And like when you have that confidence with you, it's like, well, just fucking do the work and you'll get results, you know? So
I love it.
And of course the results also speak for themselves. So yeah.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. And it's a pleasure professionally, personally, to be part of the journey. Like it feels like you have a new lease of life about you, which is awesome. And I say that to you on camera and off camera. Like it's incredible to watch, and you're changing other people's lives, which is awesome as well. So congrats, mate.
It's why we do what we do, right? So yeah, I feel grateful, man. It's a new chapter, and I'm excited to see what the next couple months, couple years bring. So yeah.
Amen. Love it. Sweet. Thank you, my friend. That was awesome.